What is the dark side behind the China miracle? Since 1980, China's economy has developed at a rate of about 10% per year, more than tripling 3 times. To put it simply, China's rise has been more impressive than Japan's economic miracle of the 1980s. So what's the exact reason behind the abrupt rise of China's economy? Want to know everything? Then stay tuned to the video till the end. Rights activists say that China's economic miracle is fueling cruel ways of working, like the scandal over brick kiln slaves, which the government is actively supporting. Nicholas Bequelin, a spokesman for Human Rights Watch, says that the bad conditions in remote Chinese kilns are hiding the country's growing number of child workers, the abuses they face every day, and the government's support of exploitation. Whether it's jobs that pay less than the minimum wage, bosses making workers pay more than they should for housing, or traffickers taking advantage of migrants, Mr. Bequelin says the problems are getting worse. These kinds of wrongdoing are common in China and show that the problem is getting worse, he said. Scholars in China call this the mafiaization of local officials who make their own rules. They work together with gangsters and people traffickers to keep working conditions worse. They go after people who can't do anything about it. People with mild mental problems, workers who aren't trained at all, and children who work. Well, this is the bad part of China's economic miracle. But what about brick kiln slaves? According to the state media, 532 slaves have been freed from the brick kilns and illegal mines in Shaanxi and Henan. Some of the slaves were as young as 8 years old. Xinhua reported that neither the enslavement of 100 migrants nor the creation of labor camps in northeastern Heilongjiang was met with severe punishment. It also said that the company in Guangzhou, China, that was found to have mistreated its workers was only put on temporary hold. In a very bad review, Xinhua said, "It's not nearly enough to lock up the abusers and pay the victims. The government agencies involved need to learn from these cases, and officials who abuse their power and do not do their jobs must be punished severely." Even so, Robin Monroe of Hong Kong-based China Labour Bulletin (CLB) said that his organization was unaware of any government department that was actively looking into and prosecuting labor abuses. Was child labor also a main reason? The study found that most 14 to 16-year-olds are working, which is against the law in China. However, there was no evidence that younger children were working, as is the case in India and Pakistan. Mr. Monroe says that the study found that the practice is caused by the extreme poverty of China's rural families and made worse by problems with the education system. On education, China spends 3% of its GDP and is one of the lowest rates in the world, he said. We found that parents did a simple cost-benefit analysis and asked, what is the benefit of giving my child an education? Now, they don't have to go to college to get away from their past. They can just move to the city and work as migrant workers. Jim Walker, the chief economist at the Hong Kong-based investment bank CLSA, agrees that there are some bad employers in China, but he says slavery is very, very rare. Mr. Walker thinks that the more common cases of low pay and unfair prices are a harsh result of economic growth and the bad side of China being the world's factory floor. He said that it's not something that happens all the time. It's more of a problem with China growing up. They are finding out in the South because when people have been mistreated, they don't come back after spring or New Year's vacation if they've been hurt. Most of the times, these kinds of actions work themselves out over time, but Mr. Monroe thinks that such an argument is out of date. They need to make governments answer to us. China does have laws, and it is the government's job to make sure that they're followed. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.